Welcome to the Mojo Mundi podcast, where it's all about magic, manifesting, and movement. I'm Ginny Watts, the Dancing Witch, and today I'm inviting you into part one of a dialogue about shadow alchemy and cultural therapy. I met Lacee Gengenbacher just short of a year ago. I had heard whispers that a new metaphysical shop had opened in town. I was immediately called to the quest of finding this new spiritual locale. After a quick search online, I found the address and hours and headed out. Her store, Mountain Witch, was tucked away in a bland little strip mall behind Wendy's. I didn't see a sign or a building number, so I called Lacee, told her my quest, and asked for guidance. Turns out I was right outside her space. Mountain Witch was so new, Lacee didn't have a sign up yet that was visible from the street, not even visible from the parking lot. I zipped into a parking space, jumped out of my car, and headed into the building. I walked down the dimly lit hall with walls paneled in dark, rumpus room paneling, and the floor covered in sturdy industrial carpet. I wondered that a store that promised many wonders could fit in the cramped container of this building. I saw a small sign sticking out perpendicular to the wall that read, Mountain Witch. I knocked on the door and received an invitation to enter. It was right out of a fairy tale. I stepped over the threshold into a cozy, magical world that seemed far too expansive to fit inside the walls of the building as they appeared from the outside. There were shelves everywhere covered with stones, gems, minerals, books, wands, potions, herbs, objects, and art. There was a full spell bar. That's right, a spell bar. At the moment, Lacee was behind the bar helping a young woman create a spell from herbs, oils, ground gems, and intention, all placed in a perfect small flask. As I watched Lacee work with this young woman, I was warmly impressed by her deep listening, her gentle blend of following and suggesting, as well as her truly magical words and voice. She was definitely a witch of powerful, clear magic, called to heal, co-create, and guide. Once her customer left, we introduced ourselves to one another and began a conversation that lasted over an hour, maybe over 2 hours. We found the places where we blended and where we diverged, and both the overlap and the differences were experienced with mutual wonder, delight, interest, curiosity, and profound appreciation. Fast forward to today. We still can converse for hours about our spiritual paths. We have created a number of delightful ritual experiences shared with others. Most recently, Lacee has stepped into creating an event that has been gestating within her for 20 years. She has invited me to join her as a guardian for this event along with herself, Angela Devani, and Tamara Leach. This event, Gathering of Mystics, will be held September 11 to 13, 2026, just outside of Bozeman, Montana, at the Gallatin River Hideaway, a majestic venue with multiple portals, a river, a stream, fire circles, birds, trees, deer, squirrels, butterflies, and sacred vibration. I have come to picture the gathering as a magic fairy village that pops up once a year. All who are called know exactly when and where to arrive for 3 days in this magical village. The village contains a market, musicians, teachers of all kinds of arcane arts, a hall for dancing, and a whole population of seekers, all honoring the physical plane as sacred, all deepening their relationship with the wisdom of the body, all honoring diversity, all welcoming of the myriad sacred paths, and all holding a deep commitment to loving, creative, joyful community weaving. Lacee and I recently sat down for one of our sweet conversations, as I wanted to learn more about her call to create the Gathering of Mystics. Our exchange offers a rich tapestry of contrast, commonality, diversity, and shared understanding. Inspired unfolding weaves subtly through our discourse, and the power of potential, of community, and self-love splash boldly across the fabric of our dialogue.
You know, like we were talking earlier, there's so much energy in the sky right now. It's lovely that we're recording on a day that there's energy in the sky for me. Because I feel like the journey I've been going through recently is just a crap ton of ego death. and exploring my shadow. I think it's been activated by starting perimenopause and just being so committed to understanding how my body and mind is working. Like I'm not doing any hormone treatments. My husband would probably like it if I did. And I'm just trying to listen. So I'm doing some homeopathic remedies. And just trying to understand the inner workings, and it's been ugly, and it's been scary, and my physical world is reflecting those internal spiritual fears. So I've been doing shadow alchemy, which is a big part of my craft and what I offer people. So it makes sense that I'm taking my own medicine.
Talk about shadow alchemy.
Yeah, I mean, so I feel like the alchemy piece is when maybe in a clinical term you would say that you're creating a corrective emotional experience. I think what's different about my approach to those experiences is that I really do encourage not only other people but myself to be fully in their body and to somatically listen to every single inner working and every inner working of their brain, right? We slow things down so that we can have metacognition, pay attention to what our thoughts are doing, pay attention to where those thoughts are coming from and how they influence how we energetically and somatically feel in our bodies. And then slowing things down in that way, it just creates so much more space for intention around what are we keeping in this activation? What are we releasing in this activation? And how do we kind of have some sort of completion of cycle with it where we forgive ourselves and others enough and have enough love to then create a new neural pathway. And that, in my world, is shadow alchemy.
Does it feel okay to share a little bit about how you experience that in this process?
Yes. Again, where do you start? You know, I mean, I think for me, this process, my whole life has been really painful. It has been ugly. It has been violent. I have fought. I was raised a fighter for the privilege to shadow alchemy. And I think now that I'm moving more into myself as somebody who's off, you know, I mean, I've always offered my medicine to people. I am more solidly offering it because I just don't think it needs to hurt the way it used to. And so in this season of my life, over the last year and a half, I've been building something really deeply, something that is a true expression of myself, of who I am, of my essence. And there's been some changes in that have created opportunities for me to go to some old messaging and programs. And I don't just mean from this life, I mean from past lives as well, like those deep root core fears. You know, a lot of people call it the witch's wound. You know, for me, it's a generational wound. There's so much to it.
Ancestral
curses.
I've heard it.
Everything. I mean, you can call it a curse. You know, I think it's just when you believe something enough, it is what it is.
Right. I was working with a friend's deck, and it came up ancestral curse, and it said that what an ancestral curse is a false belief that's passed down in an attempt to try to keep the future generations safe.
Exactly. That's how I experience it.
Yeah.
Well, I look at it as kind of like protective spells gone wrong, right?
Yes.
Protective spells that are based in fear.
Right.
Instead of connection and expansion. That's the frequency that they pass down.
Right.
Which also is called a curse. Yeah, and I just think, too, like the murky way that you cast your spells makes a difference. If you are in fear, if you are in retribution, if you are casting your spell and those lower frequency emotions and energies, that's what the spell carries. And in my world, that's just the truth.
What I've seen, too, as a therapist and as someone who works with intention and manifestation, it also comes from confusion of spirit, a belief that what we're doing means this, and actually what our fear, that fear inside, is intending is something different. So it sends out this convoluted, conflicting message.
Okay. So kind of let me see if I'm tracking what you're saying. Almost like it's these intersections where your soul self and your ego self are kind of diverging, right? You're not on a congruent path. You're not in connection or oneness.
Aligned.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's wonderful. And so for me, when we're talking about shadow alchemy, that's also the place, those intersections, those crossroads, if you will, that is where the opportunity for shadow alchemy, for mending, for healing, for, going into the deep, the unconscious, figuring out what's there, pulling it back into the light or the conscious with intention and companionship, connection, so that, again, you can decide what you're doing with it. Alchemize the murky parts of it.
Right. That discomfort, that conflict, that what I call contrast
is... Oh, cool word.
It is it's the fuel to shift.
Yeah. And what a cool word, the contrast. And what if we replaced trigger?
Right.
With contrast, right? We were talking earlier about how, in my work, triggers are portals. They literally are opportunities and messages about areas that you can find mending, alchemy, and create an opportunity for congruence.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm using that word trigger anymore. I'm going to use contrast. That's amazing. Dissonance is kind of another good one, right? There's some, just that kind of coming in, those puzzles just not being in alignment. Yeah, I love that. And for me, kind of back to your original question, my whole life, I really thought I knew what it was supposed to look like and what was supposed to happen. And so my ego and my soul contrasted a lot. And historically, that has been really painful. And the stories that come up for me during those contrast times are really dark and isolating. And so it's almost like I go into this deep cycle of isolation, doing anything I can to not receive love because I'm just not worthy of it. At the core level. Yeah. And and I feel like gathering of mystics and us putting together that sacred space and me trying to understand my journey right now has come alive in this story of Persephone and her ally in my journey and in my world. And for me, when I have a guide and a companion like Persephone in those times, I feel even if there isn't a physical realm being that I feel comfortable letting in, I'll let her in. And then I'm not journeying alone. Yeah. And that in itself is a corrective emotional experience. And rewiring can happen. And then you throw other physical realm bodies and beings into it, and shit gets real.
I love what you said earlier about the corrective emotional experience, about that healing, and how you see gathering of mystics coming into the work.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm so excited about this. I got to tell you, this is like, and I will certainly get emotional about it. Gathering of a mystics is something that I have been working on for 2 decades. When I started really taking accountability for how I existed in the world. And I went into a master's mental health, marriage and family counseling program. I was lucky enough that they required you to get therapy yourself. Thank God. Oh,
right. Yep.
Unhealed healers are damaging. And I think all of that time over the last almost 2 decades, I have been working to design an environment that created a supported, communal, loving, warm, nurturing way to do shadow alchemy, right?
Yeah.
And so we were talking about kind of from like a clinical standpoint what I mean and what we're talking about. And so because I've experienced so much trauma myself, the truth of it is that I face things that are complex to heal from. And in my extensive search for my own healing and to understand trauma, in my world, trauma that's stored in my body, in my soul, and my mind happened when there was heightened and potent emotional experience and embodiment in that moment, and some sort of rupture relationally, whether it's that attachment figure was abusive or harmful, or that attachment figure wasn't there, right? I mean, either way, it's some sort of heightened emotional experience with a rupture in attachment that causes these really solid, really potent neural pathways that are designed for survival.
Yeah.
What we're doing with Gathering of Mystics is we are creating this container that is full of love and grounded and intentional and embodied relationships so that we can have those moments where our body remembers past moments of wounding. We can have a heightened emotional experience. The difference is we're going to have other beings there that can hold that same frequency and be present with each other.
Yeah.
Connection.
From love.
From
Connection
love.
in love.
And
in
curiosity.
Joy, in exploration. Yeah.
Celebration.
Creativity.
Yeah, gratitude, right? Like we are having equally potent emotional experiences around these parts of ourselves that have had to survive for a long, long time. And then we're going to create intention with what neural pathways are we creating. And they're going to be tuned to the frequency of all of those words you just said.
And
right?
you just said.
And I just said that we embodied in this space together. In therapy world, it's a corrective emotional experience. I think what feels a bit different about Gathering of Mystics is we're going to make that ritualistic. We're going to engage every single person's heart, soul, body, and mind, and we're all going to amplify the same frequency and connect with the earth and its frequency and divine and its frequency, and we're just going to blow those neural pathways out of the water in love, joy, and celebration. Yeah. And we're not going to hide. We're going to do it out loud because the time for healing is upon us.
Right. Well, and when you talk about doing it out loud, the thing that just came to me is I was thinking, in therapy, you do it with your therapist. So there's relationship. Or you might do it in a couples setting.
Totally.
Or you might even do it in a group.
Yep.
But what you're talking about, what we're working towards, what I get to support you in reaching because you've been carrying that seed of dream for 20 years.
Yeah.
What we're doing is cultural therapy.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
It's in a whole community.
Exactly.
And that community is within a greater community, and the greater community cannot not be affected by the vibration.
Right. If you think about frequency and just the energetic frequency of emotions and states of existing, we're going to get together with as many bodies are called to be in that space, and we are going to just feed each and every one of us with that love, with that connection, with that community, with the truth that we are all connected and there is enough for everyone. And everybody gets a piece.
Yes.
And it's safe for us all to have a piece.
Yes.
Right? We are going to embody and attend to areas where that wasn't the truth in the past in each person in that sacred container energetically. And we are going to create a new frequency, a new reality for everybody that attends that space. And then guess what? Then we all go back into our communities and we hold the truth until others catch up.
That's it.
and then it spreads, and then it multiplies, and many hands make light work, and it's the truth.
That's the real beauty, too, of workshop providers are paying money into the whole event, because in a therapist-client relationship, as much as we try to make it equitable, it still has that taste of hierarchy. But when everybody is paying into, so when each person that attends, their energetic gift of their money, their payment for their ticket, is part of their alchemy, part of their giving into this whole creative event. And the workshop leaders and vendors, we as guardians and the speakers. That's exciting.
The coolest thing for me about what you're saying is that so much of my clinical and personal world has been managing my environment and trying to be everything for everyone all at once, because it was just me, because it was all me. And that was just the truth of it. And it created heaviness and pain and dis-ease and lack of safety and that scarcity energy inside of me. And the more I am in community, the more I trust the people and my intuition that's gathered the people. I know that you're going to do what you're called to do, and so is everybody else in the sacred container. And that means all roles will be filled. And it is the greatest gift, just of me being authentic and grounded, that I have never really felt in my entire life. You know, when we are together, we are all enough. There is no room for those cycles and those patterns, right? Because in those moments, I think, again, for this recent cycle that I'm in, the thing that has grounded me so, like, time after time, and questioning whether the gathering should happen, questioning my worth, questioning if I actually knew and know and hold and have medicine to share, has been the people that plug into me. The magical people who have gathered with me in this event, the magical people who are texting me on the days that I have the hardest times, like you, right? That remind me, just go, keep going, right? Don't listen to that historic, trauma-induced messaging. Claim something new. Claim love. Claim truth. Claim faith. And keep going. I mean, I've realized that the difference between me failing right now and me succeeding is whether or not I just keep going.
Right?
That's it.
I
don't fail because I don't stop. And I've had a lot of potent, painful intersections in my life that have taught me that. And now I want to share that with people in love. Let's do it different.
Yes. Rebuild, remake, create new neural pathways.
That's right. In love.
In part 2 of our communion, Lacee and I will delve into self-love, Jesus, money, the vibration of trauma, somatic spirituality, and more. If you would like to learn more about Gathering of Mystics, go to gatheringofmystics.com. To find out more about Lacee and all her offerings, visit mountainwitchmt.com. Connect with me to ignite your inner wisdom and light the way forward on your living path. You can reach me via my website or email, or on Facebook or Instagram at Caravan of Dreams MT. Our music is used by permission of the artist, Sean Phoenix. Thank you, Sean. And thank you to Bozeman Public Library for the Workbench Sound Studio located in beautiful downtown Bozeman, Montana. If you would like to learn more about allowing and how to find your unique style of manifesting, please visit my website, caravanofdreamsmt.com, or email me at dancingwitchmt@gmail.com. This is Ginny Watts, the Dancing Witch. Till next time, blessed be.